So tell some listeners about The Headliner.
Okay. Yeah, The Headliner is my first feature film. It's about a stand-up comic, this guy in his late 40s, and it's about his relationship with all the strong women in his life.
You're listening to Oh My Omaha, the podcast, where we uncover inspiring things about our community through the stories of inspiring people who call it home. I am Dee Harrell, and this is the creator of Oh My Omaha, the blog, and the blogosphere's friendliest face herself, Kim Reiner.
Hi there.
Hey, Kim.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's we were just saying that I shouldn't talk too much before we get on because
Right.
I just run out of things to say right away.
Right.
I mean, let's be real. I don't really run out of things to say, but I was like, I'm going to wait. So you're going away this weekend?
Yeah, we were planning like Mahoney State Park. Oh. We got a cabin, and so we were planning it like a week ago or 2 weeks ago when it was like 75 degrees and thinking of all these great things to do outside, and now it's
not
40s and dreary. But
yeah. What is that like? Well, how much are the cabins there again?
I don't know, but like this is still considered their off season, so they're like 30% off. So it's cheaper to stay at this time of year.
We're trying to plan a family reunion kind of thing.
Okay.
My sister lives down in Joplin. My brother lives in Portland. My brother's like, why don't you guys all come out here? But we're like, what? Then we all have to fly.
Right.
Why not just let you fly in and we can kind of stay in the Midwest?
It's tough. Well, it's tough with Mahoney, just trying to get a cabin.
Yeah.
When it's peak season.
Yeah.
They're booked like a year in advance sort of thing. So
I get that.
But it would be nice to be, because there's so many that you could stay and everyone have their own cabin for a reunion.
Yeah, we'll see about that. My parents are I don't know if you have very many cultural, like Filipino people, but they just stay in one house and they'll sleep on the floor and they'll sleep like in like a big walk-in closet or,
Oh God, I'm like, our family's like, we want our space.
Yeah. I didn't realize how different we were until like I grew up and I was like, what? Like everyone just pull up a blanket and put it on the ground and sleep there, but it's just a little Filipino thing for everybody. It's weird. The weather, it was so awesome yesterday. It was like 88. Right.
I know. So that we got like our bike rack put on our car to go biking this weekend, and we're like, no, I don't know about that now. But
yeah, you can watch a movie.
Yep, we're planning. We got some more stuff and popcorn for movies, and I mean, the Mahoney still has like the indoor stuff, like the climbing wall and everything that we can do. Yeah. And the kids, Charlotte's so into the animals. They have like a turtle program this afternoon that we're going to try to catch, and tomorrow morning, maybe we'll bundle up. There's like a sunrise bird hike tram, which is not that far from there. So you might.
Fun.
I don't know.
And then I'm going to hunker and watch a movie, a couple of movies this weekend.
Right.
For sure. I've been really, I think I said it last time, that I've been really into the shorts. Yeah. Like I've let the algorithm just kind of feed it, and I've just been like eating it up. And there's like a ton of trailers that just got released, and I legitimately spent an hour and a half the other day on YouTube going through like different trailers.
Like I'd watch that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so good. Yeah.
It's a movie weekend.
It is movie weekend. And it's kind of a good segue for where we're.
Exactly. So Dee, you want me to introduce Tony?
Please.
Or you know Tony?
You introduce him.
All right. So Tony Bonacci is a filmmaker based here in Omaha. His first feature film, The Headliner, is available now on Amazon Prime. But he's no stranger to the creative community here in the city. He's been making short films, music videos, and commercials for the last 15 years. So thank you for coming onto the show.
Welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Tony and I have worked together for a long time. Probably the 15 years that you've been doing.
Quite a long time.
I'm older, but
but like not like all the time together, like every week or anything. No. So it's kind of even more fun.
It is more fun
because it's like, I haven't seen you in like 2 months.
Yeah, I love that.
Whatever it is.
It's kind of the way it is with all of us,
with everybody in production. Yeah,
I really love it. It's such a tight knit little like community.
Yeah.
So you're an Omaha native.
Yeah, I was born in Houston, but I've been here since I was like 5. So I've moved away a couple times, but nothing really substantial. So
it's funny because you are one of the you talk about like the scene, but I honestly, you are so ingrained in Omaha-ness of a lot of my friends. I think of you being very ingrained. You're such a font of knowledge of things when we're talking about what to do, where to go, what to see.
Yeah, I think it's because I like kept like going out and being social like past the prime of when people do that. Like I feel like everybody else kind of like got married and started like doing normal things, and then I was like, oh, I'm still going out and hanging out with people and stuff.
It's kind of like
that.
you were kind of the same way. I don't know normal, but I just kind of just kept going out too.
Yeah,
so
I feel like I never changed since I've been since I was 25, but that's probably not that great, but. I mean,
it's all good. We've talked about the music scene, and why don't you kind of tell us how you got into movie making?
Oh man, like the very beginning of stuff.
Please.
Like so in high school I went to a place called the Career Center, the OPS Career Center, and so they had a video production and like radio production class and stuff. Like now it would be podcast probably, but yeah, so I went to that, and before that, of course, I was making little home videos on the camcorder and stuff like that. But that was where I first kind of learned like how things actually worked as far as the way to shoot and edit and stuff like that. And that's kind of how I got started on that. And then I started like being a production assistant at some point for commercials and stuff like that. And I learned like pretty much everything I know from doing that, like just being a production assistant for a long time and all that. And then I just kept doing shorts and music videos and learning that way. So I could never afford to go to film school. Otherwise I would have, but our family was always too poor for that. So
what were the movies, or what were you watching at that time as a teenager that kind of
oh my gosh
started to spark the interest?
Pretty like messed up, like Kids, the movie Kids. Like I saw that. Actually, Kids was the movie that made me want to be a filmmaker.
Really?
Like, yeah, isn't that insane? It's funny because I consider myself less edgy now. Like, but when I was in high school, I thought like Kids and Gummo and all these crazy movies were awesome. But also at the same time, weirdly, like my a few of my other favorite movies are like Hook.
Oh yeah,
the Steven Spielberg movie, and then Heavyweights, like
absolutely
the fat kid movie, because I was a little fat boy my whole life, so I could relate to that. But it's weird; it's been a blend of like these crazy, insane, like offensive movies, almost mixed with stuff like that, like just like pretty much everything, I should say. Yeah.
It's funny that you say offensive movies. Kids was a great.
I mean, not to me, but to other people. They're like, this is so
yeah. Well, it's kind of like the we had talked about it before that it's outwardly offensive, I guess, or outwardly abrasive, but like the meaning is so like just heartbreaking. Actually, that movie's so hard. But
yeah, definitely.
Like kind of we were talking about like poets. I'm gonna go off on tangent, but like I love Bukowski, right? So I always talk about like, and he's a lot, right? If you just read the surface, but it's like really beautiful kind of prose or just the way it's written. It makes you feel something other than what the words that he's saying. And so I kind of think of that with movies like Kids and
yeah, and like when I say offensive, quote unquote, I just mean like there's from like kind of a generic perspective, like people will be like, oh, that is so messed up, like nobody should see that. But in my mind, like I don't really get offended by a portrayal of something.
Right.
Like if it's portraying a bad, terrible person or something messed up, like that's not necessarily glorifying it, it's just showing it. And I don't get why people would be bothered by that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Do you like true crime? Because I feel like that's
I will actually weirdly the only true crime I watch is an obsessively kind of almost every day. I like those little short snippet YouTube documentary ones where it'll be like 10 to 20 minutes where it's like this lady did this but in 2020, like, or you like whatever it is, like just some little murder story or some weird crime thing, and it's not even like an official channel. I don't think it's just like these little ones that pop up on YouTube that people make, and I love those. I watch them like every day.
Yeah.
It's kind of morbid, but like I'll watch those like every day and get like kind of like sucked in. I'll be like, one more. Okay, one more.
Yeah. Well, and I think it kind of goes to what you said about the portrayal of it, right? Like it's knowing.
It's
like,
just the reality of it.
It is the reality.
It almost makes me feel like more safe or like good, because it's like, this is crazy. Like it's weird that this stuff happens. And like,
and we were talking about that on a shoot not too long ago when our photographer friend, I won't name him, but he was like, how do you watch it? He's just like, it just like, it would bog him down. He would be a mess like, he's just like, it's just too much. The world is enough. Like, I don't need to watch true. And I was like, I really never even looked at it that way. It makes me feel
it is true, but
almost safer just because like, like
my world's not as crazy as this.
Right. Or like, if that were to happen to me, like if that little red flag happened, then I'd be like, oh wait, I watched that on some true crime. I was a little suspect about it, but yeah. So, what of the things that you make or produce? What is your favorite kind of genre or medium?
I would say like dark comedy, I guess, or like awkward like things that have sort of a drama element to them, but also comedic. So a dramedy, I guess. I don't like saying that because it's a little cliche, but that's what I like, is just something that has mixed genres in it, because I don't like all of one thing or all of another thing. I kind of like mixing it up. I would say the only thing that's even a constant thing throughout everything I make is just very awkward and weird characters and people. So that's about it. I don't really have like a exact thing that has been very continuous throughout all my projects, but
yeah.
Also, I just like different things every time just to keep it interesting. So
agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So tell some people, listeners about The Headliner.
Okay. Yeah, The Headliner is my first feature film. It's about a stand-up comic, this guy in his late 40s, and it's about his relationship with all the strong women in his life as he's kind of on his journey of being a comic. It's about his relationship with like his daughter, his ex, his manager, and then like a new love interest that ends up being like a very awkward relationship, and you'll have to watch it to see what that means. So, but yeah, I've been into stand-up comedy for a long time, and I knew I wanted to make something about a stand-up comic and maybe somebody kind of struggling to make it in that way. And since I've been kind of struggling to make it forever, and I never have as a creative person, it's one of those things where I kind of wanted to capture some of those elements of like what it's like trying to do something and it just being kind of a hard journey, and then but also then putting that into like stand-up comedy, which I've been obsessed with for a while. So it was just as simple as that. And then I had my friend Christine Barrite write the screenplay for it. So I just had like a rough idea, and then she took it from there and made
awesome.
it. So.
Christine's pretty brilliant.
Yeah, she's so good.
We talked about Christine when Matt was on. Yeah, she's awesome. So you talk about awkward characters.
Yeah.
Are there any awkward characters like in any show or film or that you're just like, whoa, like that's a real strong, there's something about that character that really stands out to you?
Dang, I'm trying to think of like any recently.
Yeah.
I mean, they're usually in almost everything that I like, any like movie I like, there's always like an awkward character. So for instance, like the most recent movie I saw was Sacramento that just came out. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. So like Michael Cera, and then the other guy, I forgot, I don't know how I'm forgetting because he also directed it, but both main characters are super awkward, like in their own way. And so I just like totally love the movie, and just like there's just weirdos. And so I don't know, I can't think of any other ones that really stand out, because pretty much every movie I like, there's always a couple characters in there.
Michael Cera's a great awkward character.
Yeah, he's like the king of awkward.
Yeah,
but in
he really is.
Like he's so good.
Very endearing.
He kind of like,
so good.
When I saw Sacramento, and it's like a brand new movie that's in theaters, I was like, oh yeah, Michael Cera's still awesome. Because I had recently seen him in some other show, and he was pretty good, but a little more like subdued or something. And then in this one, he like totally was shining again. I was like, oh yeah, he's still just as good as he's ever been. So
I love it. Yeah. Have you seen I Think You Should Leave?
Yeah, I've seen a couple episodes, and that's like ultimate awkward.
It is ultimate. Yeah. I was like, I bet Tony would love that.
One of my favorite ones.
Like my husband and my son like to watch those kind of things, and I can't.
Yeah,
Tim Robinson.
Yes.
Yeah, he's really good. And the one that I remember that I did see that I absolutely love is when he was opening the door the wrong way. Do you remember that?
Hilarious.
Yeah, and he's like,
no, I'm doing. Just pull it. And he's like, no, it's fine. And he's just trying to.
He's like leaving a coffee shop, right, or something, and he pulled it the wrong way, and he's like breaking it off the hinge, and his friend's like, no, it's the other way, but he's just that stubborn.
Yeah,
it's like a perfect like example of people that are stubborn.
It is. There's honestly it is. I can see your point, Kim, and like how hard it is to watch, because there are moments you're just
it's so like
But
Yeah,
it is
grading
so
on
funny. Like he takes it to that point of like, oh my gosh, like it's the things that we might giggle about.
Yeah.
But it's so embarrassing. And then but that makes me think.
It has to be one of those one episode at a time shows. So like it's kind of not like Tim and Eric, but it's almost that same type of awkwardness. And like you can only really take like one episode at a time or maybe two. That's kind of how Curb Your Enthusiasm was for me. Like I could maybe do two, but no more because like I just couldn't take anymore.
Talk about awkward.
And I love it. It's almost like I absolutely love Curb Your Enthusiasm, but I can only take like one or two episodes at a time
because it hurts. There's like something. There's like a whole conflict of like laughing and pain and like pain and like almost horror because just like I can't
exactly.
even. Yeah, it's. I mean, I shouldn't say you should. I'm not going to should on you, but it's the awkwardness of I think you should leave.
I try. There's one that's another show, Nathan
for you or whatever.
With
Nathan Fielder, I think.
Yeah, I just can't. Like my
haven't
family
watched
wants to watch it. And I sit there and I'm like, I just cannot watch.
It's hard.
I think like I see the humor, but then I just empathize with the people who have to deal with the awkwardness of him and like,
which is so funny.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, like some of like the outlandish things of like just the one episode I'm thinking of it on I think you should leave is this like Will Forte is the cameo in it, and he's like just like pitching a fit on a plane, and they're like what's going on to this guy who's sitting beside him, and he's just like, you were that baby, and it flashes back like when he was a baby, when Tim was a baby on the plane, he was crying incessantly, and Will Forte was on and ruined, and he's like he lived to ruin a flight for this baby who is now grown into a man. Like it's ridiculous, but hilarious. It was just so funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I that's awesome that you identify with those. Like you really like the awkward.
Yeah, and I even like even more subtle awkwardness.
Yeah.
And like more subtle character things where it's almost like you would kind of like smile to yourself or kind of giggle, but you wouldn't want to like. You would almost feel like it'd be mean to like address it with certain people in real life and stuff, where you just notice these little quirks with somebody in public, and you're just kind of like you think it's funny, but you wouldn't want to like let them know that you think it's funny.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
So,
That's I think you just explained perfectly the conflict that Kim has when watching the What did you find was most difficult making the movie?
Producing. So I also produced the movie, which, as you know, because you've done it.
Yeah.
Just putting everything together. I even did like my own, like the legal side and like every little thing I did myself. And it was just absolutely the hardest thing I've done in my entire life. And it was still fun, of course, like when we shot and then like, you know, premiering and stuff like that. But it made it to where I was like, I am never producing another movie ever again.
Yeah.
Like I want to direct, of course, but like I will never produce ever
hard.
again.
Yeah.
So it was so hard.
So what would be your advice be for somebody who's like, I want to make I'm going to start?
Actually, so I have new advice, which is like, and this isn't coming from a place of like, I'm a success, I have advice, but it's actually sort of the opposite. So since I always had this thought like, oh, once I make my feature film, everything's just going to happen for me. And like, that was always the thought since I was a kid. Like if I make a movie, if I find a way to make it happen and I finally make a legit movie, everything will fall into place. And it just didn't happen at all. And so my advice is, I was telling Whitney, like, I wish I almost would have went a little weirder and edgier with the movie.
Yeah.
Because Christine wrote it, but I was kind of guiding and we would talk about it and do revisions and stuff like that. And I feel like, I mean, when people see it, they might be like, no, it's not it's not mainstream at all. But I feel like I almost wanted it to be a little bit accessible and mainstream. And now in hindsight, since everything didn't fall into place, like, you know, I thought like in hindsight, I almost regret not just making like, just kind of like this weird, like edgy, weird movie. You know what I mean? Like, not like purposely where it's ridiculous, but just like, I wish I would have made the exact movie that I would have wanted to make instead of trying to make it a little more mainstream. Because when you watch it, you will notice like, oh, this almost feels like a rated R Hallmark movie or something like that. Like, that's like at the worst point, that's kind of how I describe it. Like when I'm kind of down on myself, I'm like, I wish I would have like kind of made it a little more out there or just a little more me. I mean, it is kind of me in a lot of ways, but I don't know if that makes sense to you.
No, it does.
It's almost like I tried to make it accessible, and I do like it a lot, and I love it. But at the same time, I'm like, I shouldn't have cared about that at all, because like now that it's not like I'm any farther than I was before. So I don't know.
No, I love that.
Yeah,
That's
I try to be
really
honest
nice.
about it, honestly,
Yeah.
when I talk about the movie, because I think I don't want to be phony about the way I feel about making it and stuff.
Right.
So yeah.
That's that, you know what? It's funny that you say that, because perhaps the knowledge of the back end of stuff of producing and the writing and everything, maybe you're right, maybe not knowing as much about or doing it in that way, doing all the steps in the sense of, I'm going to get a writer, I'm going to get a whatever it may be, get all the crew that to get into a production. Perhaps maybe it's it might be a little bit. I can see how you're saying it kind of be a hindrance in that way, and making it.
Yeah, and then the advice, I forgot that whole thing. That was like I went on a tangent.
It's
about
all good.
That. The advice would be just make the movie, absolute movie you want to make. Don't worry about trying to make it a little more mainstream or accessible. Like, just make the thing that you truly want to make, as far as like every detail of it. And like, I think that Christine could have done that with me. You know what I mean? It's not
absolutely.
it's not like a thing about her writing at all. It's I could have worked with her on making it like even more like how I would have wanted, edgy and just weird and stuff like that. So.
I not talking like in the sense of it being bad, but more so in the sense of like, sometimes I think that being a rogue, like the artist, like it's my way or the highway kind of moment is kind of more liberating or more.
That's how you stand out. Like if you make your art, make your thing, and no one else can make that. But you, and so
and so that would be the one. That would be the one advice, honestly. Just like make the thing you want to make. Don't try to make it accessible for anybody. Because like sometimes it doesn't work anyway. So but anyway, everybody should watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. But I do, you do trust the other artists that you're working with more so, right? In the collaborative sense. Whereas like sometimes people who just are like, rogue about it are like, no, like I don't. It's more so like I don't know how to put it in words of the beauty of your movie is that it was a collaborative, creative effort, right?
And it's very like Omaha, like it like really showcases a lot of Omaha music and locations and actors and like everybody that's in it is like a Omaha actor that does stage plays and stuff like that and other projects. So it was awesome in that respect. And it's like insane what we were able to do for the budget. It's just like the budget is like nothing compared to other small films. Like it's just even like when I hear people like on a higher level talking about independent film, they're like, the independent film that was $6 million. And it's like, that is insane. Like, it's just funny I actually laugh when I hear that, because it's like, $6 million. Like to me, that would be insanely like a big budget. Like, so it's just funny.
So if you don't mind me asking, as far as like the budget is concerned, how did you work around that? Did you like, I know I've been involved in some projects with some other filmmakers or production companies, and I do like to keep budgets down. We'll do trade, so I'll agree to do some more shoots and stuff on like upcoming or whatevs, and they would they would get my services free. They'd hire me for a different whatevs it would be. How did you manage such a small budget?
So it's kind of like there's a lot of different things that happen. So a lot of people, crew wise, a lot of people just worked for lower rates than usual. Since it was like an indie film, my first movie, like it was kind of me cashing on relationships and friendships and like stuff that would fly maybe once for your first movie, but I couldn't come back every time and say second movie, third movie, fourth. Can you keep doing this? Like, right. So it's a thing where people on the crew were working for lower rates, where I'm sure it was still worth it maybe to them. It's like, and then with the actors, all the main actors got rates too, so they got paid and were happy with that. And so basically, just a lot of people working for less than full, like the absolute full rate, if it was like a Hollywood show or movie or whatever. And then locations, I got so many places for free because Omaha, like businesses are really nice about that, and they can accommodate that type of thing. And then I'm trying to think of what else. And then just like equipment, like Mike Mastery, like was very like generous and gave me like an awesome deal on a camera package and stuff like that. And then same thing, like several people, Jeff Johnson, like let me use his van for the entire shoot and like his grip stuff that he had in the van and stuff like that. And other people let me borrow equipment and stuff like that. So yeah, it just was a whole collaborative like Omaha film industry effort of putting it all together. And so it was nice to get that one-time deal, but I'm also one of those people where I would never expect that every time.
Yeah.
So it's
That's awesome.
yeah, so that's how we made like something out of like not out of nothing, but we basically double or tripled the money based on connections and like so
I think you hit on something. I think Omaha is unique in that way. I think because it was every part of it, right? It was the crew, it was location, it was it is very much a very supportive community. Yeah, I mean, I get it. You wouldn't ask everyone to do it like that the next time, but they probably would, right? Like that's kind of how we wouldn't ask, but they totally would be game. I think that's, and they wanted to support you too. It's awesome.
I think the key is, sorry to interrupt, I think the key is also just like don't expect anything out of people. Like you can run something by somebody, but give them an out. Like say, hey, I'm working on this thing. Like I totally understand if you can't do it for this much, but if you'd be interested, like let me. So you just, if you give people an out, because I've heard stories about people that are pushy and weird, and like you just, as long as you're not doing that. Then,
So you included a lot of places in Omaha that people recognize. How about some places? Are there places in Omaha that you have in the back of your head for like, I want someday to have a shoot there or have in a film? It just didn't fit for this movie, but like, what are some?
So this is funny you mention this because this probably would never happen or be able to happen. But so I just had a work shoot at St. Pius. Have you ever been there to the school?
Yeah.
And like the school, it's totally like retro on the inside and still exactly the same. It's like these turquoise walls and like colorful doors and like the hallways. Like it was the most cinematic like school I've ever seen, even in other movies. And I was like, this would be so cool to be able to shoot here for like a school, like scenes in a school or a school movie or just whatever. And I was like, I don't know if it would happen because I'm sure that they're like, well, we'd have to approve like this and that, and, which makes sense. But so that was one thing that I recently, literally within the last week, thought of. But anytime I go places like that, I always kind of keep it in my mind, like, oh, that would be awesome to be able to do that.
I drive around with Kevin, and he'll point stuff out. Like, that would be the
cool
great
location.
lawn for
a great lawn.
He sees a picture, he's like, oh. See, I wish that'd be great. So like true. A stock footage thing, I could have that. I'm like,
so true.
Yeah. Like I was on a walk the other day in my neighborhood, and there was this house that looked exactly like the Nightmare on Elm Street house and stuff. And I was like, oh, cool. Like that could be a cool, like, I don't know, as like an homage to that or so. Just, it's just a matter of seeing stuff. And when you have production brain all the time, like your husband and us.
We're really fun, aren't we, Kim? Like, when we'd always like, we went to this a long time ago, but the three of us went to Hawaii. Kim and I ran a marathon, and Kevin was with us, and it was just like we had rules. Like she's just like honestly, because Kevin and I will talk in movie quotes or show whatever. Like and production brain is a real thing. People don't honestly. People are just like, sometimes just like just don't say anything. About
I know because it like it like ruins it for other people, or like it's annoying if you're like, oh, did you see that weird edit?
Yeah.
Wait, let me rewind it. Did you see that? I wouldn't even have done that.
Honestly, I'm always like, oh, what is with that hair? I was like, they tipped the image. The hair's on the wrong side or whatever. Like
you're like, I would have never let
or the button's undone and it wasn't like in the last cut. Like it's awful. Like Eli's just like, okay, great, right? But it's funny because I always watch I told Matt the same thing. One thing is that I'm like, my only thing is we have to watch the credits all the way through. And everyone's like, oh, because you think something's going to happen at the end. I was like, no, because if I was working on it, my name would show up on like the bottom of that, the end credits, right? And I was like, and it's the only time that all of those people, all the crew people get to have any kind of recognition is during that credit scene. So like, I was like, I might not know them, but like watching it gives them at least a little bit of. That
reminds me of, I guess I think this is on the same track as that, but like as far as credits and stuff, sometimes do you ever go on like an IMDb, like spider web of like, oh, I'm looking at this person's name, and then you're like, oh, they worked on that movie, and then you kind of go to that one and then see, like, I love that. I want to do that more actually, because I don't really do, but when you get on that tangent, it's so fun to like keep leading, and they're like, I didn't know they were in this, and then it leads to other people, and you're like, wait, they directed that? Like,
I just did that the other night. We watched the newest Planet of the Apes movie.
Oh, okay.
And the female lead on that. I was like, wow, she looks familiar. And I'm during the movie the whole time just IMDb. I was like, oh, she's on The Witcher. And then going down, I was like, when are they going to come back with Witcher things? And I went down like this whole, and he's like pausing it. It's just like,
Is this
yeah. I mean, I'm done. Sorry, but yeah, the
so
IMDb.
Yeah.
Web. Yeah, it is a rabbit hole. Yes. Okay, so back to Omaha stuff.
Yeah.
So, you in your movie, you are different like eateries and
coffee shops.
Yeah.
And
So, do you have any favorites?
I think a lot of those ones are my favorites. Or do you just mean like other places in general?
No, you could be the ones in the movie, but we just want to know what are your favorites.
I absolutely love Blue Line, and I've shot there like 10 times.
Yeah.
That's my favorite place because I've always been around there and been going there. Page Turner's my favorite bar. Still, I said this on the last podcast I was on too. I'm like, it's a free commercial for them.
Yeah. Oh, I've been promoting for Fizzy's for like the entire year. Yeah.
I just went there recently again, so I had to stop going there because I had to get healthy. But when he was like, do you want to go there? After we went to Stavros Halkias, the stand-up comic, the other night, and she was like, can we go to Fizzy's? And I was like, okay. So I gave in, and it was so good.
Yeah.
Yes, that's like one of my favorites, too.
So good.
And it's so we shot there, too, of course, in the front and back. So as two separate locations, because the front looks so different than the back. So, yeah, we shot there and made the most out of that. That was a feat of producing, by the way, that day, because we shot at Fizzy's for both of those, and then we went over to Archetype Coffee, and then we went to Tiny House. So that was like a perfect thing. It just happened to work out perfect that they're like on that day to make that work.
Use their lot,
which I was proud of that because I was, some obviously things don't work out sometimes, but somehow like all those locations worked out at that time, all in one evening, and it was like, yes, I can't believe this worked.
Did Fizzy's? Were you able to use their lot?
Yeah.
For
Yep. Well, and then that, and then I think maybe some people went across the street, but we parked there, and like they were not open at that time, so it was perfect. So.
We did. Yeah, I've shot a couple things there too, and they were so accommodating. And massive trucks, like a big Mack truck to park in the back lot.
The owner, he's so nice and
so
accommodating.
Good,
He actually, I'm not joking, has been so a couple people. So Noah, who owns Fizzy's. And Night Owl. He's so accommodating that he'll straight up be like, oh yeah, go ahead. Like, I don't care. Like, just come in. When you leave, just, shut the back door. Make sure that like he's so, and then, Phil, who owns like Page Turners, and other places, he's super accommodating too. And he's like, he'll like almost thank me. And I'm like, you didn't need to thank me. Like, I'll be like, oh, can I shoot at Page Turners on Tuesday at 4? And he'll be like, oh yeah, thanks, Tone. And I'm like, you didn't need to thank me. I'm thanking you. Like, like he's beyond words accommodating. It's so, those guys are so cool. And there's tons of other owners that are always so nice too.
Yeah.
So,
nice. That's awesome. Okay. What about, so Little Bohemia, obviously those three were awesome. What about like in Dundee or Benson?
In Dundee. Oh, I love the new taco place.
Yeah.
Dang it, what's the new one called?
I know.
Oh, Bomb Taco. Bomb Taco. And it's so good because like I was actually kind of bummed when Hoppy Taco was going to close because I was like, well, I'm kind of sick of like kind of like the semi-classy, like white people restaurant.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I am white, but but I was just sick of like that usual, like, oh, we have like bistro stuff and like whatever. So when when Hoppy was closing, I was like, damn it, I liked those tacos. And then Bomb Taco opened, which I think is completely different, but it's really good. Like it's just as good.
Cool.
Actually, maybe even better, I think. So I've been liking that. And then of course, Blue Line. Trying to think of what else in Dundee. Where do you guys like to go in Dundee?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I actually haven't been to the new place, Pitch. I haven't been to Udalale or however.
Yeah.
I want to try too, but I haven't been there.
We're talking about missing the patio of Mark's.
Yeah. And I think it's the same, I'm sure. I don't know. I don't know if they improved it or took it away or
that
anything.
That is great patio. Yeah.
I'm going to have to check that out. Yeah.
Do you have any West Omaha?
So weirdly, we've been going to Star Indian. Like it's just off 132nd and Center, just to the north. It's called Star, and I guess it's the guy that. He used to be part of or own Flavors downtown before it changed ownership. But I forgot what his name is. But
132nd and Center.
Yeah,
north,
so it's like right at 132nd and Center. Do you remember where that Homer's weirdly was in that strip? It's like in that strip up there.
Got it.
Yeah, it's up there, Star Indian, and it's super good.
Oh, I haven't heard of
near
it.
me.
I'm like beyond words excited about that. That's one of my new favorites. And then, of course we live in Exarban, so we always go down to Exarban Village and go to like Saffron or like Herb Saint and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
There's too many. I just love eating and drinking too much, so I love every place. So
that's good. 132nd and Center. I have to try that. That is new.
But I'm trying to think anything else out west. Not that I can think of right now. That was like the first one that right away popped in my mind. But
when we talk about out west, like it's whenever we try to talk about restaurants or patios or attractions, West Omaha's where we get stuck sometimes.
We do, and I don't mean to be such a snob about it.
The funny thing is like, I just don't know. I would be willing to, like, if there was some amazing, like if somebody told me about some amazing place, I would go. It's like, we usually stick around, like Midtown, like where we live, but like I wouldn't be against driving somewhere if it was super insanely good. Because like with Star, we just pop up there and it's not like a huge deal to drive around. I think we get like too used to in Omaha, like staying where we are, even though it's not that hard to drive places in Omaha, like especially if it's not rush hour, you can just go like wherever.
I've always said it, honestly, because I used to live right around 132nd and Center, right? So like 120, whatever, 20th and Pacific. But I'm always like, oh, it's great. I can go. I would drive everywhere, and I would be everywhere for shoots. And I remember like 20-something years ago, the Clark, like people would just be like, oh, it's really a thing in Omaha, like 72nd and East.
We don't go.
And then 72nd and West. If you live east of 72nd, you don't venture west a lot, and then vice versa. And I was like, nah, what else? Like I lived everywhere. It is a real thing.
Not crossing though.
Once you cross one of the lines, like once you actually like own, honestly, I lived at like 120th-ish area for a long time, but I never identified, which is so dick. But because I lived in the old market before I moved there, and I was just so old market that even when I lived there, every week I would take the kids. We would go downtown. We would go to Ted Wally's every week, and we would walk the market. Like it was a thing that I was like, oh, I have to go around the neighborhood, of which I did not currently preside, but I identified so highly with that, and it is a real thing. I'm like, oh,
well, and the
that's
funny
a little
thing
far,
about
120th.
The funny thing about it is like, so we live at 56, but we'll go all the way down to like Fizzy's and like a tiny house and stuff, which is 13.
Right.
So it's like, the number difference, like if you went west, it would be like the same.
Yeah,
so
but you're just like,
it just feels different.
Yeah,
like,
it does.
We used to live between Dundee and Benson, and so it was no problem to go downtown to go to the market.
Right.
But now that we're
That's
like
kind of where I grew up.
Rockbrook, we're like,
That's crazy.
oh,
yeah.
now we have to think twice. We really need to go downtown.
I grew up, a big part of when I grew up was at 60th and Franklin, so that must have been kind of by you.
Super
It
near our
was
old house.
super near.
54th and Franklin.
Nice, that's
Literally.
cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's so true.
And
It
my,
is.
like,
And
my
it takes probably
sisters.
less time for us to get downtown from
One
the
hu-
area.
From
Hop
your-
on the interstate.
You hop on the interstate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually really.
And then I'm just
Or
like, oh, the traffic.
it's
If
funny.
the timing's bad.
Yeah, so fun. That is so funny.
Rock.
I think that's one thing that working in production for so long in this town has helped me, is that I'm like, oh,
You can
it's
pop
just-
around anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think it's that big of to travel all of that distance in a day. Like, some locations would be like at 224th and Maple, and then the next one would be at like 13th and Jackson, or whatever. And you're just like, all right. And so I think that's helped me.
You get used to it
But-
with production.
Again, I probably wouldn't even live in Papillion right now if I was like, because I was just like downtown. I'm like, I'm just gonna stay.
I should
It's so
actually.
tough to get to.
It is.
Like, there's no convenient way.
No, there's not. Actually, to get here is probably my easiest drive of regularity.
it's on the interstate,
Like,
or-
no, I just go I go frontage road to 108th, and it's like 10 minutes.
Oh,
which
okay.
You're just, again, 15 minutes or 20 minutes to get anywhere in Omaha, right? But it was like 10 minutes for me to get from Pavilion to here all the time. I'm always like, it is such a straight shot. 108th is odd. It's actually quite well timed. The lights, it's like, it's a
like
really
just to
quick
pop like north or south. Yeah.
It's a real quick street, which I don't want to tell everybody that either, because it's like,
don't
then
let
I
them-
don't congest
give them the
it.
trick.
Yeah.
See, I learned about 108th a long time ago because I worked at dang it, what's the factory that like sells toys and
Oriental Trading.
Yeah, Oriental Trading. How did I forget that? OTC. I had to be there at like 4:30 a.m. and I'd be like listening to Aphex Twin with like my neon blue light shining.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I was like all tired and I'd be trying to wake up with. Yeah,
but it's a quick 96th and 108th going either way, like from Papillion to like West Side, right? I would just, like take 96 all the way through, whatevs, and it's super quick. I know. I was always an interstate person because, well,
although Omaha traffic has gotten pretty like I remember when there was not even traffic. Like I have a memory of like there not even being like it would be rush hour and it was like nothing compared to how it is now.
Yeah.
Like
rush hour is really interesting.
It's insane. But I guess
insane.
it's because the city grew a lot. But it's just so weird to even remember times when it wouldn't be backed up like that. Like,
although we did talk about this before, I do take for granted that the traffic here or like rush hour here is like
compared to big cities.
Like when I go home to Toronto and hit rush hour, you're just like, okay, like it's like a 2-hour commitment. It's a long time in traffic and no end in sight. Basically, but
although it's kind of funny because as someone that doesn't have a 9 to 5, I actually get annoyed when I get stuck in rush hour because like if our production happens to end at right, and I'm like, why? Like we're not on. Like why do we have to end or start during rush hour?
Right?
Like
because those set times.
There's no set times. Like why are we in this? Like because I'm so like pampered being freelance of avoiding rush hour every day. So like when I'm only in it like maybe once or twice a month, honestly.
True. It's so true.
That's the case for us too. Yeah. And so I was like looking when I was considering starting back at a full-time job. I'm like, I don't know if I really want to like have to drive somewhere and get there by like 8 or 9 o'clock. That sounds
it's really difficult. That's a really hard thing to grapple with.
That's a tough jump back.
Yeah,
I've heard some stories of people that live in big cities where they'll literally just stay somewhere until it's over. Like they'll get off work, maybe go to like a gym or something nearby or go get dinner or whatever it is. They'll do something else and then get on the road like because they would have either been stuck in it or they could just wait and like enjoy their hour or two and then go or something.
I did
like
it
that.
when I worked at Clark and moved out of the old market.
You would just hang out for a while?
Yeah, or I would go super early. Okay, so I'm notoriously late by 5 minutes, which I am not proud of. It's a thing
but
I've
5 minutes is still that buffer.
Like, oh gosh, so like knowing I trying not to be late requires me to commit to being somewhere like an hour or 2 earlier because it's just if I leave it to like minutes,
then I'm
going to be late. Yeah. So I remember when I first started working like at Clark Creative Group, I would go at like 6:30 and I would sit at 13th Street Coffee and I would read for an hour, get a get something. Wow. That's how Linny and that's how I became good friends with the people who worked there because I literally was like, I don't want to be late. Like I'm going to be late. I got to go there at like 6:30 in the morning. Funny. And so, but it's true. Then I avoided it's awesome. Nobody's on the road. Like I was at 120th to 13th in Jackson. It was just like in cool. Rush hour, it's painful. So
I'm the opposite. I'm like overly punctual. Like I'll always be early or like right on time. But it's usually, I think the reason is it might be OCD or something, but it's also if I have a plan, like where I'll be at home and I'll be like, well, I don't want to just like stand here waiting to leave. Like, cause if I know I have to do something, I'm usually like plan it. Like I'll be at home knowing I have to go do that and I'll get ready and I'll be ready. Unless it's super early, then I'm like, okay, I'll be like only right on time, never early. Like if it's super early in the morning.
Yeah, we had that talk.
Damn it, I don't want to wake
up. We worked together recently when our call time was like 7:30, and I was like, I don't have my makeup on. Like to be here on time means I'm just gonna get out the door. So
we do get a little bit with production sometimes too, like pampered, because sometimes I'll get annoyed if like one of the people I work for is like, oh yeah, can you be over at like 5:50? And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Like why are we even starting it that early?
Right.
Like what's the reason? Like even though I guess it's usually because it'll be like at a hospital and like the doctor can only do his photos at like before his stuff.
Or like we need to get
so it always makes sense, but then like for me I'm annoyed. Like it always makes sense, but then on my end I'm just like, why?
That's the worst.
And I'm not like a 10 a.m. sleeper. I get up at like 8 or even before most mornings. But like, those are super early mornings where it's just like, oh my God.
It is. It's hard.
I almost wanted to start charging like an insane rate. Like anytime before 5, if I have to wake up before 5 a.m. Because there's been some times where I literally had to get up at like 4:10 or something to be on time for like an insanely early shoot. I want to do a surcharge for that.
I mean, right? it is painful. And then sometimes I'm just like, man, like if I'm producing or if I'm on the non-vanity side of the production, I'm good. Like I won't even put makeup. I'm just gonna wear a hat. I'm just gonna do this. But then when I'm like doing like styling or hair and makeup, I'm like, gosh darn it! Like I gotta put my face on. I gotta look like I can do the thing that I'm gonna go do.
I never even thought about it. Well, of course, I never thought. about it, but
which again. Not a real problem. Like, I'm not really complaining, but it's just like one of those things.
Yeah, because I only take like 20 minutes literally from waking up to being ready. Yeah. Like 20 minutes total, like to shower and get dressed. Man. But then sometimes I'm like, I wanted to make coffee and I didn't have time. Because that's like priority.
That was this morning.
That's the priority, the coffee.
The coffee.
Oh, I have a joke about that, which is like when you're late, but then you show up with your mug, like, and then I always get self-conscious because they're like, oh, but you had time to make your coffee, like, even though I'm sure they're not thinking that, but I always bring that up.
I mean, I think that's hilarious.
One time I showed up and I was like 5 minutes late to Scott Dobry's place, and I had my mug and I said, this was set the night before. Like, because you can like program it. Like,
that's
it was
amazing.
Just funny. Like,
and he would get it. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
It was so funny.
So I don't know if Dee prepped you on this or not, but we ask our guests the same question at the end.
Oh, I don't know what it is.
Yeah. So where do you find inspiration in Omaha?
Where I find inspiration in Omaha. Okay, I find inspiration in Omaha from generally from other creative people, but also specifically right now, I find inspiration with the comedy scene. Like I honestly feel like Omaha's stand-up comedy scene is super good, and I find inspiration from a lot of those people that work super hard at what they're doing and trying to like grow like their career with comedy and stuff. Like one of them is Jocelyn DeBonis, who works here at Hurrdat. So yeah, she's one of my favorite, and yeah, there's a ton, but everybody should check out stand-up comedy in Omaha because it's really good.
Where do you go to see it?
I like going to the Back Line. I like going to Funny Bone. I like going to Tiny House. Tiny House has a good show that Zach Peterson puts on. His company is called Broken Magic Comedy. So if you look up Broken Magic, you'll find awesome shows.
I caught one of those one time.
Yeah, they're always
like you're
good.
Being in like a living room, and
it is
at Tiny House. Yeah,
it is. Yeah,
and they're all good. Like Zach does such a good job at curating those shows and everything. So I get inspired by those, and trying to think of what else. You mean like literally where? Like what location?
You get to interpret it however you
want. Yeah, that's it. Good. That's all I can think of for now. So
that's good.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you want to say?
Yeah.
Check out The Headliner. It's on Amazon Prime for rent or purchase. Otherwise, keep your eye out for it for free somewhere down the road.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you,
Tony.
Guys. Thank you. See ya.
Thanks for listening to Oh My Omaha, the podcast. We want to thank our guest, Hurrdat Media, all of you for your support, and the Omaha community at large.
So from Dee and I, keep on exploring.